In this video, I will be explaining what is a correlated subqueries and what is a common table expression. So let's start with a little bit of theoretical part, and after that, let's move on to real life examples. Let's start with a correlated subquery. A correlated subquery is a subquery that runs once for each row in the main query. So if you have, for example, 100 customers, the subquery will run 100 times. This might sound like inefficient, and yes, it is, but it's actually really useful when you need row by row calculations. Now let's do the example. Again, let's use our AdventureWorks database, and from this AdventureWorks database, for example, we want like customers and we want how many orders each customer made. For that, we will be using customers table, and also we will be using sales customer header table. Let's do this example. So at first we need to select from our customers table, select from, let's zoom in a little bit, select from sales.customers table, give this an alias, for example SC. From this table I want to have customer ID, let's say customer ID, and now let's use our correlated subquery. To use correlated subquery, you need to open brackets, and here now you will be able to write different select statement from different table. For example, as we said, we want count of orders for each customer, right? So we need to select from our sales order header table, and we want to select orders for, right, count star. And here also we need to include something, right? We need to include where statement where my customer ID, which is in sales order header table, customer ID should equal to c.customer ID. Our C table is our customers table. Also, don't forget to use comma. And if we run this command right now, let's use an alias for this one. For example, count of orders. And if we execute, as you can see, the customer one had 0 orders. Let's scroll down and we can see, for example, this customer had 2 orders. We just not can only use one select statement, also we can use multiple select statements in our correlated subquery. Let's add another one, and instead of like counting, sum of total orders or total due. Let's give this a name also, sum of total due, and also use comma here. Let's add another one, like average of total due, average, and by this way we will see how many orders our customer had, what will be the sum of their total due, and what will be their average of total due by using our correlated subqueries. Click on execute, and this is our output. So as I said, this is like the subquery runs once for each row in the main query. So if we had, for example, this many rows, this subquery run this many times. So now let's move on to the common table expression. We call common table expression in short terms CTEs. A CTE is basically a temporary result set that you define with a with clause at the top of your query. So let's start. Let's take the something like same example, and this is like this with CTE. For example, CTE. I always tend to use CTE here. You can use anything. You can name this anything. For example, let's say our YouTube channel name, Brainwheel. But for now, let's use CTE as. And now you need to write the query as we said. Let's select from our sales order header table, from this table, and from this table, let's do the same example. from this table I want to have customer ID. Also I want to have count of orders, right? Count as count of orders. Also I want to have like sum of total due. Let's copy paste. And also I want to have average of total due. Let's copy paste again. So this is like temporary result set. I'm creating temporary result set, and after you create this temporary result set, you can do modifications and add some more queries. So let's continue. Now we have this kind of information. Let's group our information by, for example, customer ID. And if I run only this select statement, I will have this kind of output. So with CTE, I created some kind of temporary result set. And now if I write here, select star from my CTE and run this query together, I will have this output. Now this is my temporary result set. And now let's write some kind of join. Let's again join this result set to my customers table. Let's select from my customers table, select star from, for example, sales.customers table. Again, from customers table, take this customer's ID, give this an alias, C, and write inner join to our temporary result set, to my CTE. On what? On my customer ID. Customer ID, c.customer ID should equal to CTE.customer ID. And from this CTE, I want to have like these columns also included, right? You just need to copy paste these aliases which you used. Let's copy paste. We want count of orders, we want sum of total due, and also we want average of total due. This is it for our query. Let's order also our data ordered by, for example, again, let's use customer ID to order our data. And let's use descending order. Let's run these queries together, and this will be my output. So we can say that basically we did the same thing with these correlated subqueries, but for now in this query we used inner join. So we created a temporary result set, and after creating this temporary result set, we were able to write inner join according to this result. Like instead of writing and repeating same query, like same subquery over and over, like we did previously, like counting, summing, and averaging, we just wrote this once, and after writing this once, we used this like temporary result set to get the output that we wanted. For me, this like using this CTEs, common table expression, it is much more readable, and also it is more efficient, right? This correlated subquery is not as efficient as these common table expressions. So this is it to explain like correlated subqueries and common table expressions. As you saw, there is a like big difference in performance in visual way also. Visually and performance way, using this common table expressions, CTEs are much better, but also you can use these correlated subqueries when your data is not very large. To sum up this video, let's say if you just need something quick and your table is very small, you can use these correlated subqueries. But if you're dealing with a repeated logic, lots of rows, or complex calculations, CTEs are the way to go, because it's a cleaner code, better performance, and easier to maintain. So I would recommend to use correlated subqueries for simple inline lookups, and use CTEs when you need clarity, performance, and reusability. This is it for this video. If you find this useful and if you learned something from it, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It helps the channel to grow. I'll be uploading more videos very soon. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.